Hey everybody, we are going to get started tonight. I'm going to do a Facebook Live. It's Tuesday night and I figured I have the time, so I'm going to get on here and do it. I really like doing lives on Tuesday nights, so that's why I try to shoot for them. Sometimes I don't always tell you if I'm doing them because something might happen and I can't get it together. So we're going to get started. I'm going to grab a wreath frame here. Let's see. Grab one up here. And we're going to get started. Again, it's my handy dandy 10-inch. Let's see, I'm going to bring you up here and hopefully get everybody on. So, hop on here, say something. How are you doing? This will be uploaded to YouTube. And so let me give you a little bit more light here, just a little bit, okay? So I got this, I'm gonna get it, this really neat new fabric mesh from craftoutlet.com. They do have it in stock right now, and they do have this orange that I'm gonna use also. So I was trying to do something, okay, we need to get working on fall. Fall's going to be here before you know it. We got to get working. So, we did the, this fall mesh. I'm going to cut off this little tag here. And, this is the fabric mesh, let's see, XB985110/19. If somebody wants to look that up, it's just it's got green, let's see, the orange and the beige. It's like the jute burlap of the beige. So I still don't see your comments. I'm not sure why. There we go. Now I have your comments. I just love Facebook. They change things on me and I'm just like, I can't see your comments. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is take this, this is the plastic canvas. A lot of people always ask, what's in the middle of your wreaths? This is what is in the middle of my wreaths. This is the 5 mesh type, and I like it because it's very flexible, and I just prefer that. So what I do generally is I just outline that center ring, and this is a 10-inch frame here, and I just really quickly cut this out, and then I would just take some zip ties, some just 4-inch zip ties, and I connect it to my frame. Okay, pretty simple. As my little girl would say, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Very simple. I'm going to throw that out of the way. If you saw my craft room right now, you would probably couldn't believe that. So let me ask you a question. Am I talking too loud, guys? Let me know if I'm talking too loud, because here's the issue. I had surgery on my ear 3 weeks ago today, and I still do not have all the hearing in that ear, and this zip tie doesn't want to work. I still don't have the full hearing in that ear. And so when I talk, I feel like I'm talking in a drum or like in a seashell, like when you listen to a seashell. So if I'm talking, I feel like I'm really loud, but I'm not. And I've had people say, oh, you're talking really soft. And I just want to make sure everybody can hear me, because on my last video, which I had several people say they had a hard time hearing me, and I don't want that to be the case. So I do need to get a microphone, and I tried to get one that my son bought for me, put together tonight, but I couldn't get it together. I couldn't figure it out, let's be honest. It was technical and I couldn't figure it out. So I just wanted to show you this process because a lot of people will ask me, how do you put that in? It's just really simple, okay? So it's just a 10-inch wreath frame. I purchased mine from consumercrafts.com. Right now, I think they're out. If somebody might want to check for me, they're out of these, but they usually get them out back in stock pretty quickly. They're only $1.57. So how can you go wrong with $1.57, right? So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to quickly show you Riley, go lay down. My dog's in here and he's like standing and wondering what am I doing. I'm going to show you really quick how I cut my mesh, okay? This is my little, I guess it's my little hack, I guess you would call it. So I just take a Dollar Tree, let's see, a Dollar Tree basket, and I took a wooden dowel and I put it through there. So I had a friend of mine who watches me here. Her name is Pearl Higgins, and she sent me these little things called her pearly weights. And today was the first time I've been able to use them, and I really like them. So I left you guys the link. It's in the description in the post. Do not leave me. You got to stay with me. Go afterwards. Go afterwards. But I'm just going to show you how to cut this. I'm going to try to move this so you can see it better. I think I might need to move this just a little bit so we can see a little bit better. I'm going to use a wood burner. And in this wood burner, I use that tip. I don't know if you can see it. I don't want to touch it because it's hot. Now let me tell you something. You should probably wear a mask when you cut any type of mesh, any type of poly. You can have a little fan blowing the smoke away. I have a room, let's see, what is it called? A room air purifier in my room. So take the precautions you need to take, okay? But this orange I can cut with this, and I'm just going to go in between the lines. It doesn't have to be a perfect cut. I'm going to cut it at the 10-inch marks. So we're going to cut this 20 or 10-inch pieces. Okay, so I know I need 2 of these, but this is my pearly weights. They're really neat. If you were using a rotary cutter, you could use that as an edge, and she does sell the bigger ones as well. So check that out if you're always putting something down to weigh down your mesh, because I am. So I only need 1 here. And let's see. I'm going to cut 1 more because I know I needed 3 more. So I just wanted to show you how to do that, okay? So that is done. All right. I'm going to turn this off because we don't need this on anymore. I'm going to put everything to the side and get you back up here so I can see all your comments. Yep, consumer crafts are out, unfortunately. But they're really good about getting it back in stock, okay? Okay, let's see here. We're going to get this out, and I'm going to show you the outside. It's very simple. I think that we did a beach themed with the rope center a while back. It was before my surgery. And I'm going to kind of demonstrate it in a different color because honestly, I'm out of the orange and the plaid, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing because we'll be here a long time. And we don't need to be here an hour, okay? So I'm just going to slide my zip tie. We're going to do a section, okay? We're going to do the crossbars first and then 1 in the middle. And we're going to start at that same bar. A lot of people ask me, why don't I start here? Well, the issue is that your leaf would go this way, or your petal. So what I like to do is I like to keep this open, and then that way if I want to add green leaves on the back at the end, I can still do that. So what we're going to do is you're going to take a solid color, and you could do all 1 color. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be, you know, 2 complementary colors. You just use what you have. So you're just going to take a 10-inch by 10-inch roll, and you're going to meet in the middle, and you're going to just gather it like we would do a normal, let's see, what do you call it? A normal petal. So let me get a thing. I'm going to just hold this right here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do it with this really cute green and pink check, and have another petal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cross them like this, okay? So as I cross them, I'm going to take my thumb and we're just going to bring it up like so. So we're going to just take our 8-inch zip tie. Whenever I'm putting the petals on like this, I'm using an 8-inch zip tie, okay? So I'm going to put it in between here. Here's the crossbar, and it's coming on from one side and then the top side. And I'm going to squeeze it. And just pull really tight. All right. So then it's pink, it's the check, it's pink, and then the check. Okay, that's our petal. So now we're going to do that 2 more times. So now we're going to go to the next part, which is the next bracket. Oops, that's the one I just took off. I'm going to set it there. I'm going to take another one of the pink. Again, we're making the orange and green tonight, don't worry. I'm going to make my petal, and I'm just going to put it in my hands like that, okay? Make another petal. You're going to meet in the middle, and you're just going to gather it. I'm going to put the pink over the top. And here's a good thing. You need to pay attention to what colors go what way, because when you bring it together like this, you want it pink, check, pink, when you go down. You want it variegating itself. So I'm going to put one on the next bracket, the crossbar bracket, I should say. Okay, I'm going to pull that up. So we're also going to do one right in the middle. So this is going to be the process all around. What I would do is I would go all the way around, and we'll do a bracket, and in between, okay? And what that first row of petals is going to be 10 pink and 10 of the plaid. So again, you meet in the middle, you gather it, you hold one between your fingers or use a clip, and you're going to do another one like that, and you're going to place them over top of each other. Then you're just going to move your finger, it doesn't get in the way there. So what the goal here is to have pink, check, all right? And again, I think this would work with deco mesh too. I think if you had some really pretty deco mesh, give it a try. If anything with the deco mesh, you might need 2 of these petals here. You might need one there and one here. But I really do think 10-inch deco mesh would work with this technique. I have tried this with the poly burlap. It's a little bit harder to use because the poly burlap is so bulky. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for the first rim, okay? So I would go do one here, 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 and then in between. Okay, so that's your first step in this wreath. So what I've done, and honestly, again, we'll go back to me talking too loudly. I feel like I'm shouting right now. So tell me if I am talking too loud. You won't hurt my feelings. I'm going to try, let's move some of this over here because this is kind of getting in the way of you guys seeing what's going on. So if you guys saw my craft room right now, oh my goodness. Oh, it's awful. But like I said, I've had surgery and I couldn't lift things and I couldn't bend over and I was having a problem with dizziness. So, you know, you can only do so much. So we're getting back to the grind here. Okay, so what are we going to do for the next bar? The next bar, as you can see where the tip of this meets, that's the next bar we're going to use, okay? We're only going to use 2 sets of these petals. We're going to do one here and one here for each section. So let's just take the orange, and I'm going to do the same technique. I'm going to put it between my hands. And this stuff gets a little curly. It gets a little, it's not as hard to deal with as deco mesh, but it does work out fine. I feel like it has a lot of elasticity in it, which I kind of like. So I'm going to take a 8-inch zip tie, okay, and I've got it right here. So it's right underneath that bar. I'm just going to go like this, okay? and I'm going to put it right here, and it's in between the outer edge petals. See, we've got one here and we got one back here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put one here, and then we're just going to go all the way around and do the same technique. Okay? So let's see how fast we can do this. I will tell you a really funny story. I was getting my nails done last week, and I knew the color I wanted, but I didn't know the number. So I went in and I found the nail color, looked at the nail, and said, okay, it's 99. All right, I'll tell her 99. So I told her 99. So we're sitting there. She starts doing my nails. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't look like the color. See, the color I have right now is like a wine color. So we keep going a little bit farther, and I'm like, okay, that's definitely not the color, because the color I wanted was like a summer color. It was like a reddish pink. And so it dawned on me that halfway through getting my nails done, that I thought I read that number upside down, and sure enough, I went over to look at the nail, the nail guide, and it was 66, not 99. So that's my funny story for today. I couldn't believe I did that, but I'm glad it was a pretty color. But yeah, that was I learned a valuable lesson that day. Let's just be honest. I was couldn't believe it. So anyways, but I do have in the description box above, it is July, and July is my Christmas in July sale for all of my tutorials. Now I know I have tutorials here on YouTube and on Facebook and all that, but my premium tutorials are tutorials that I sell. And let's see, these are things like the Christmas tree and the flower trio and the apple blossom and the marigold and the flower collection. And what it is it's just a more produced video, and I do have groups that go with 3 of those sets. So like the Christmas tree has a group, and in that group there's other tutorials in that group. You can only watch them in the group, like for my angel wings, because it's based off my Christmas tree technique. And then in my apple blossom and marigold group, you have to have both of those tutorials, and it's cheaper to buy both of those together than to buy them singly. And then I have a flower trio group, and in that group I also have even more live videos of taking the techniques I use, and instead of making another video and say, here, buy this video, I just put it in that group. So make sure you catch it. It's for the month of July only. If you're watching this video on YouTube, this is July of 2019, just in case. So as you can see, we're going on pretty good here. I'm going to see if I can see your comments. Yep. Okay, somebody just asked me which one gets you everything. All the groups or all the tutorials? Let me ask you that. Which one did you mean? If there is one that's called the Ultimate Tutorial Package, and that gets you all the tutorials, and before the sale you get basically 1 tutorial for free by purchasing it that way, but then with the 10% off you get even more. So it's a pretty good deal. And that would get you into all 3 of the groups. All right. I think this would be pretty. I've told you guys before I wanted to do a rainbow look, like a rainbow, but again, I could get every color but blue, except for the blue fabric mesh. So eventually I will do a rainbow one, but not yet. It is fabric mesh. Somebody just asked, is that fabric mesh? It is. And as you can see, once you get going, it's pretty easy. Pull that in some more. see. Okay. This is kind of a new, this is available at Craft Outlet. I did share that at the beginning. Craft Outlet has this. I'm not sure that Trendy Tree, I think, had the orange, but I don't know that they had this. So if somebody knows and can leave a link, that would be great. Did not see, this is not available at the Wreath shop right now. At least I don't think. If I'm wrong, leave me a link. But again, this is July, so hopefully if you're watching this and it's next year, they'll have it. So let's see, who's starting on fall wreaths? If you sell wreaths, are you starting on your fall wreaths, and what are you making? Thank you, everybody. I see everybody saying that you guys love these lives. I appreciate it. I do my best to give you guys some new ideas and techniques to what you could make. I just put up a video. If you haven't checked out last week's live, I did one, was it Thursday night, I think, or Friday night? I did one with the Hobby Lobby mesh, or burlap, sorry, the buffalo plaid burlap. And that has been really popular so far. Okay, just one more for the second row, and then we'll start the inside. Just put it in between. It was so hot and so humid here in Michigan today. But it's July, it's supposed to be that way, right? I'm thankful for there's no snow. That's what I'm thankful for. Okay, at this point, you could even use one of those, you know, those big centers from like Trendy Tree and Craft Outlet. You could use one of those at this point if you didn't want to do a center, the center row, which is what I'm doing right now. So what I'm saying is you could just stop here, have a big center, one of those. I'm trying to think, do I have one? No. They do have these. They are the off-white ones. Now this is too small. This is the 7-inch. You would need another row, but do they make these bigger? Does anybody know if they make these in the 11-inch? Let me know in the comments if they do. But this would bring out the color in that. I know that you probably can't see that as well, but it has a natural jute strand in the mesh, so that would bring that out. So that would be really cute to use one of those. And you would just put wire, fluoro pens, and some felt on the back, and that's how you would go through there. And I'm sure I have somewhere here a video of how to do that. If not, I need to do that for you guys. All right, so the next step is we are going to put 10 of these inside. Now on this wreath, we're going to still adhere to where the brackets, where the cross brackets. Let me just switch this over. The cross brackets are right here. So what I want to do is I want a petal here at each of those brackets, okay? And then after we get those 5 petals in, we're going to go in between them and put one in between. So just like we did this outer ring, we're going to do the inside, but on the canvas itself. And we're going to go in about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. All right, I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to put these here. I'm just going to add them, and then we'll just make our petals real quick. Now, be careful, because if you put the wrong thing, you'll be in the wrong zip tie, and I have done that before, let me tell you. You gotta watch what you're doing. So we're just gonna put the zip ties in our spots. And again, this doesn't have to be a fall wreath. This could be a pink and purple wreath. You could do whatever colors your heart desires. All right, okay. Let's see. Can somebody find out what the centers are called? Because I always get that mixed up too when I go searching. Is it flower centers? Do they just call it that? Because I get that mixed up too. I do, and I I should know what I'm looking for, but I can't remember it all. Now I do want to tell you, I could not use the wood burner on the plaid mesh. I had to cut it with my rotary cutter. And if you're just starting out and you want to make wreaths, here's the two things you should invest in. One of these self-healing cutting mats is what I'm using right now. So it's the same petal that we've been doing this whole time. Some of my wreaths I use different petals, but this wreath we're using the same petal. A self-healing mat is what I would recommend, and a good rotary cutter. And I've had this question about my rotary cutter. This is just a Fiskars 45 millimeter. And yeah, that's a pretty one, but that's because I found it on eBay or something like that. But just a regular Fiskars 45 millimeter is what I use, and I do change my blades. So put one right here, and then I'm going to sort of show you a new center, I guess. We're going to twist. We're going to twist together some fabric mesh, not braid it. We're going to twist it, which is different. Michelle, actually somebody sent me a message and said Trendy Tree had them. So is Trendy Tree out of them already? Just let me know in the comments. If you're watching this at a later date, still check craftoutlet.com, thewreathshop.com, and trendytree.com. Those are great places to go find wreath materials. And they usually have like a, if you spend so much, you get free shipping. So, okay, so let's do 2 more of these, and then we're going to go through. I'm going to try to be a little bit quicker here. I wish I could play music in the background. That would be so nice. What kind of music would you play if I could play it in the background? I keep wanting to pull up this orange petal, and I'm like, no, you got to make the other petal. Now, when you cut this, you are going to have some fraying, but it's really, I just don't find it that big of a deal, I guess. If you don't bother with it too much, it shouldn't be too much fraying. And I am going to test here. I usually use this to spray my wreaths, but I will test the fabric mesh first to make sure if that works. It's for clear acrylic spray, and this one is the satin. Usually I have the matte. I'm not sure why I have the satin down here, but I do. So let's cut these off, and then we're going to put our last 5 petals in. So as you can see, we did 1 at each, let's see, what is it called? The bracket. So now we're just going to put our zip ties in between each of those spots, so that we can just put our petals in pretty quickly. I think somebody is asking. The prices on like poly burlap, I have found, are going up. Is anybody else seeing that, like at Trendy Tree and different places? And I think it's a supply and demand thing. I think that they don't have a lot of it, and I think they're raising the prices. That is just only my conjecture. That is just solely my opinion. No facts there, so don't back me up on that one. So hopefully when China basically and Taiwan gets us more mesh made, because that's where all this mesh comes from, is usually China and Taiwan, maybe Indonesia. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but hopefully they will get it back in stock soon. So let's do 5 more of these petals. You got to make sure you don't put the wrong zip tie, the wrong zip tie. Then you're like, oh, why did I do that? Let's see here. Let's put one right here. Has anybody started on Christmas yet? I'm curious if you have. I'm looking for more orange mesh and I'm not seeing it. Did I? Oh, I think I didn't cut quite enough, so I'm gonna have to cut just a few, like 2 more pieces of the orange, which is fine. I just thought for sure I counted right. And sometimes you don't count right. And you gotta go back and redo it. So let's see here. Okay, one's gonna go right here. Yep, when we need 2 more. Okay, so we're just gonna cut these with the, oh, let's see here, where's my thing? Okay, we're gonna cut these, and I don't know where I put my pearly weights, so I'm gonna have to do it without it. So I'm just cut it without it, but that's okay. And I make sure that I go in between the lines, all right? I already cut 2 of them, no problems. I'll find those other 2 pieces later, I'm sure, if I didn't count wrong. Let's see. Move this around. I'm sorry if I'm moving it around and it gets a little blurry. It's just the way it goes. You know, you move things around on your phone, because I'm doing this with my iPhone. All right, 1 more spot, and then we will move on to the center. So I made this wreath already today, but without the center inside of it. So I have 2 of them just like this right now. So I'll be able to sell them. And also I wanted to tell you too, with the new shipping cost increases, because the post office is doing everything by dimensional weight. And so that's made it harder on us wreath makers and anybody that sells bigger items. This is a good one to put in a box. This would go in like a 20 by 20, and you could use a 20 by 20 by 4 box. And that is going to allow you to ship it at a much lower price, just so you know. Because this can be laid down and it will spring back up. And if it doesn't spring back up, all you have to do is just bring out your petals like so. And it's just that easy. That's what I like about the fabric mesh. I just really like that. So I'm going to put this over here. And I'm going to demonstrate the next process. I'm not going to show you exactly how I did this because it's really long, okay? So, and you pretty much have to stand up when you're doing this, okay? So because you have to kind of stand up to do this, I'm going to show you like on a smaller scale. But you're going to use about, this was 2.5 yards of fabric mesh, 2 pieces. And I just took it, I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to use a shorter piece. This would not be big enough, okay? This is just solely a demonstration. So I'm going to lay them on top of each other here. But for this, I used 2.5 yards of 2 pieces of that. So once I get that together, we might say maybe like 2 yards. But what you're going to do, let's see here. I'm going to use a bigger one. You're going to just gather it at the top and you're just going to put a zip tie on it, okay? And if you have watched my other video, I have a video where I took poly burlap and I braided it. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the word I wanted, braided. But this one we're not gonna braid, we're just gonna twist. So pretend that this is like 2.5 yards long, okay? But this would be on the floor and you wouldn't be able to do it on the table. So you're just gonna take your two pieces and separate them like this. And you're just gonna go over each other, okay? It takes a little bit to get it started, but once you get it started, it does really well. And you're just going to, this one needs to be a little tighter. You're just going to keep going over each other. So it's not the braiding, it's just twisting over. And so that's what I did with the longer piece. I just kept braiding, not braiding, twisting it over. This is caught. Okay? And so when you get it to the point when you've done all of your things, you would just take another zip tie and you would tighten it up, okay? So let's put this to the side and let's go to the longer piece. Now I already started this one, and as you can see, I'll just go ahead and, let's see, undo it so you can see what I did. All right, so I took the end and I just am going to, we need to hide that zip tie. So by hiding that zip tie, I'm just gonna put it like that, gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna zip tie it together. Just use the 4-inch zip ties for these. And so the key is to have it on one side and the other side, and you're just gonna pull that tight. All right, and this is very similar to the way I did the braided center, and that's another YouTube video that you can watch. So I'm just going to wrap this around itself. All right, so I'm gonna go a little bit and we're going to attach it to itself. And we're not going to use any glue in this. Okay, I'm going to just bring it around and look what it looks on the other side. And we're just going to kind of, let's just do this enough where it kind of tacks it together, and then we can go through and add more zip ties once we have the shape we want. Again, this was the fabric mesh. It's the same material as this, 10-inch fabric mesh. Okay, so as you can see, that's what it's looking like. And then we'll see how big we're going to need it for our center. There we go. Let's see. Let's flip it. Yeah, I like the way that looks. What do you guys think? Do you like the way that looks? All right, so let's put it over here. Yeah, I think that's plenty big. So because I cut these two pieces, 2.5 yards, I would say probably cut it 2 yards long, and I think that's probably gonna be enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off some of this. Maybe 2.25 yards if you wanna just be safe. If you wanna play it safe, maybe. But I definitely wasted mesh by going 2.5 yards. Yeah. So I'm just going to cut this off. I'm going to use this really cool tool I have. I think I have an affiliate link. If you want the affiliate link for this, let me know. I'll leave it. Okay. It cuts beautifully. I had another one, but I don't think they're making them anymore, so I went to that one. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that in. See? And I'm going to attach that. I'm going to use a bigger zip tie actually, just to make sure I get it enough in there. Come on. There we go. because we don't want any of that to show. All right. So that is your center. I think it gives it a little, we have a little bit of a different look. So let's clip all these ties off and maybe add just a few more to make sure it doesn't come apart on us. So once you have enough to kind of hold it, you're going to take a few more and just make sure that this is going to be sturdy. Sturdy enough to hold together. I don't want this to fall apart on my customer. That would be bad. All right. So I went through 1, 2 rows there, and here's the third. And you're basically connecting it to itself, basically. Maybe one right over here. I think we'll be good. All right, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this on the wreath now. And honestly, I think this would be pretty. Wouldn't this be pretty if you used 2 different colors of fabric mesh? Like if you did, I have, for the green and pink that I showed you earlier, I have the green and the pink, and I think twisting those colors would be beautiful. So that's all I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to grab me 2 of, I think I'm just going to grab 2 of these, just wires. And, all right, I got to get them in between. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to go through several spots here. All right, so there's one. You can't see it on that side, which is important. I connected it through some of the mesh. That's all I did. And I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to try to do it more towards the outer than the inside, just to make sure that when this goes in, it looks right. So that we're not like pulling the center in too much. Okay, gotta not bend my wire here. Okay, so we're just gonna pull this in. And all we're gonna do is we are gonna go in the center where I have that plastic canvas, all right? And we're just gonna go right through. I know you can't see it, but trust me, I'm gonna show you here in a minute where I went through. All right. And you're going to pull your fabric mesh. And honestly, I think you could do this even smaller if you wanted to. So we've got our wires coming through here. So I'm just going to connect them. I'm going to just twist them. I'm going to take a sneak peek. Okay, yep, that looks good. Make sure we're not pulling too hard. So what do I do to the back? I just take a piece of felt and I line it on the back, and I just use my, let's cut these. I just use some 4-inch zip ties to connect it after I put a little hole in it. And make sure I put my business card that has all my social media links and how they can get a hold of me, my customer. So in case they forget where they got their fabulous wreath. So a little bit of orange there. So that is the new center. I hope you like it. It's all fabric mesh. So if you wanted to make this wreath, you would need 3 rolls. This, somebody just asked for the number for the fabric mesh. And I don't know if you can see it if I put it up there. I don't know. I'll try to put this in the link in the description box. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook so you can see whenever I do these lives. Because what I do, I try to do this. Not everybody's on Facebook, guys. Some people don't like Facebook. Oh, I can't understand that. But yes, I can, because there are days where I don't like Facebook. Let's be honest. I get tired of social media. But they're on YouTube. And this is how they can watch it on YouTube. So, thank you so much for joining me tonight. That is a simple DIY fabric mesh wreath. Craft Outlet has this. Let me know. I'll look through the comments. I'll try to get back to you guys. If you're watching for the first time, let me know in the comments, and so I can say hi to you. But thank you so much for watching, and you guys are the greatest, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.